Yo, what is up, guys? XRP is at $1.37 right now on CoinMarketCap. Today is one of the most important days of 2026 for XRP. Right now, as you're watching this, the Federal Reserve is holding its April meeting. Jerome Powell's last before Kevin Warsh takes the chair in May. Whatever signal comes out of that room today will either light the fuse or delay it. And the chart is wound tighter than it has been all year. Every single pullback since March has been shallower than the last. The sellers are running out of XRP to sell. $82 million just poured into XRP ETFs this month, the strongest institutional buying of 2026, and it is all coiled behind one resistance level, waiting for a trigger. The Fed meets today, the Clarity Act markup window is open, the triangle is at its apex. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happens to XRP when all three of those things resolve, and why the next 7 days may be the most consequential of the entire year. Let's get into it. Our first tweet comes from Ripple Bull Winkle. XRP holders, last call in today's news. Fed now update is absolutely wild. Get caught up before markets open. Our next tweet comes from Steph is Crypto. Huge. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says up to $10 trillion could flow into XRP. Let's watch this video.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. And inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets, and safe, secure, and they're going to need to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps, even a tokenization engine, some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So we think there's a lot of pieces that come together, and we already had, and I remember when you and I first spoke, I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and a bank Ripple was already working with, and they were asking us about could we help them with their custody. This is prior to the Medico acquisition, and we weren't in a position to do that. And so when I think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, hey, here's a best in class.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Bit for Coins. Big signal from the Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Banks are well equipped to serve crypto-related clients. Digital assets are no longer on the fringe. They're moving straight into the core of the financial system. The regulatory ice is thawing. Institutions are preparing. The infrastructure is being built in plain sight. This isn't hopium. This is the chairman of the Federal Reserve acknowledging reality. It's the future of money. It isn't coming. It's already here. Our next tweet comes from Ripple XRP. This is huge. XRP has taken over the entire city of Las Vegas. What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Emilio Bojan. Nothing has changed. XRP still maintains bullish patterns across the longer term, medium term, and lower time frames. Double bottom, bull flag, bullish cup and handle. Our next tweet comes from Finance Bro YouTube. Saudi Arabia hired crypto chief and pro XRP lead banker. This is getting crazy. Trillions of dollars about to flow. Now XRP ledger is coming after the media industry. $2.5 trillion. Let's watch this video.
The interest of regulating.
Joanna, when it comes to the developments when we see in Saudi Arabia, what are we hearing about the new crypto chief and the implications for cryptocurrency development and take-up policy in that region?
Hello, Heidi. So it's a good thing for crypto that there is interest from Saudi Arabia. And this is showing that, say, the interest of regulators in Abu Dhabi and other places in the region is also making places like Saudi Arabia think we need to be in here too. We need to be somewhat competitive on this. It looks like they're looking at putting in some rules, and a lot of crypto players do want some sort of framework before they go in, so they have some sort of certainty about what's going on. But it is sort of if you're into crypto, it's always a good development to see that governments want to kind of foster the industry and bring people in.
So, Heidi just mentioned that every September has been a bad month of declines for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. However, they weren't always preceded by what a terrible year, right? It's been several months of a vicious sell-off. Is it possible they're maybe closer to a bottom now?
Yeah, Kathleen, that is completely possible. I mean, with crypto, you always have to, there is always a lot of uncertainty, and it is going to be a volatile space. But with the Fed, especially, crypto is just so dependent on what they're doing right now on the potential pace of rate hikes. So if you start to see inflation cooling off, you start to see the Fed say, well, maybe we don't need to hike as quickly as we thought, then you might get kind of a bottom and then a race up. But there also are a lot of people who are saying we could see 15,000, 10,000 from here. It is sticking right around 20,000 right now. So there are people who think that it could go even lower before you get anything approaching a bottom.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Will XRP price hold $1.40 as MACD turns bearish in descending triangle? Okay, so this just dropped 13 hours ago on CoinGate. The headline alone tells you everything you need to know. XRP is sitting on its line in the sand, and the chart just turned bearish on the 4-hour. The Fed meets tomorrow, so this article is basically the playbook for what happens next. Highlights. 3 things this article flags. 1. XRP is testing $1.40 with bearish momentum building. 2. MACD has flipped, descending triangle is in play. 3. And this is the wild part, ETFs are still pulling in cash even as the price gets weaker, so institutions are not scared. That's a tell. Awaiting the April 28th FOMC meeting, that's today. So while we're sitting here recording, Bitcoin is under $78,000. Ethereum is around $2,300, and everybody is waiting on Powell. Let me put it this way, the entire crypto market is holding its breath, and XRP is sitting right at the edge of the cliff. Now let me show you exactly where that cliff is. Can XRP defend the $1.40 support zone? That's the million-dollar question. Let me break down what they're saying. Beat 1, the descending triangle. Article says we've got a descending triangle on the 4-hour. For anyone new to charts, that's the lower highs hitting a flat support. Classic distribution pattern. 9 times out of 10 it breaks down, but, and this is important, when it breaks up, it breaks hard, so the setup matters. Beat 2, the MACD. MACD just rolled below the signal line. Red histogram bars are growing. RSI is in the lower half. In plain English, the buyers have left the building. Short-term momentum is bearish. Beat 3, if it's the downside levels, if it's $1.40 cracks, here's the ladder down. $1.38 first stop. $1.36, that's where we are right now. $1.34, that's the capitulation zone. Worst case from alley charts, 90 cents. And remember, Powell speaks tomorrow. One dovish sentence and we punch through $1.45 like it's not even there. So, XRP ETF inflows hits $15.74 million as Bitcoin funds lead with $824 million weekly surge. XRP ETF inflows hit 15.74 million. So this is the part that doesn't fit the bearish narrative. While retail is panicking about the chart, institutions are still stacking 15.7 million into XRP ETFs last week. Bitcoin pulled 824 million, 4 straight weeks of green. ETH got 155 million. Even Solana grabbed almost 10 million. This is not what the top is in looks like. This is what accumulation looks like. The takeaway, so the chart says one thing, the on-chain says another, the institutions say a third, and one Powell sentence tomorrow decides who's right. That's the article. Read it yourself, links in the description. Now let me show you the tweets that everybody's talking about right now. Alley charts, a multi-year triangle on XRP points to 90 cents as a potential bottom for the bear market and $13 as a target for the next bull run. Our next tweet comes from KKY8848. XRP/USDT is consolidating steadily above the lower boundary of the falling wedge on the 3-day chart. The bottom support remains strongly effective with rebound pressure continuing to build. Once it confirms a steady hold, the bull market will launch powerfully. Get ready for a major rebound. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Bill Boo 0. Gold shall destroy the Fed. XRP backed by gold. XRP RLUSD gold. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Geek News. Breaking. Reports claim the US president is moving to recognize XRP as a strategic crypto reserve asset. And here's the truth from real Donald Trump. A US crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, SOL, and ADA. I will make sure the US is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. Our next tweet comes from Rip Bullwinkle. 35 million XRP left exchanges in 24 hours. The 6th largest outflow event of the year happened the same week as presidential crypto bill announcement and a potential Fed chair transition. On-chain data tells you what happened. You decide why. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.